Good morning, you beautiful baddie cupcakes. This is the Anti-Cupcakeism Podcast. I'm pretty sure we're on episode 6. I might be wrong. Today, I got my good friend Malik. How long have I been tattooing you?
Three years, something like that.
Years, yeah. Yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah. You started in the old shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we moved over here with me, right? Today we're doing something a little different. Today, I'm physically going to tattoo while we run this podcast. I don't know how it's going to work out. I'm not the greatest at multitasking, so we'll see how that ends up going. I also don't have like a ton of questions wrote down, but I have them in my head, so we're going to run with it and see how that works out. But my first step here is I got to get him cleaned up, and then we're doing some freehand stuff. This is a lot of my own work. This is mine. Yeah, that's mine. That's not mine. But all these lines and stuff, those are mine. And what we're going to do today is we're going to take this and run it up into here, right?
Yeah. With the boat and the lines. Like an X.
Okay. And an X?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, we're doing your boat up here?
I thought that's what we were doing.
Okay. I didn't catch that, but okay. Give me a second and I will figure that out. On the iPad that is now recording, so I'm going to have to use the shop iPad. Hold on a second.
Unless we want to do it that way.
No, I want to put the boat on there. I just forgot.
What?
I'm glad this is charged. Oh, there we go. Alright, man, so without like being boastful about it or anything like that, but you kind of went into your own entrepreneurship too.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Lawn care landscaping.
Lawn care, how's that going?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm up 26 clients.
26? I feel like that's a decent amount for lawn care and landscaping.
Yeah.
And you're like in the mix of like this is your hot season right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're just full swing doing shit.
Every day.
Yeah, taking off, growing clients and stuff. How does that work?
Yeah.
How do you go about promoting for lawn care and stuff? Because I'm sure that's totally different than
Mine's just been word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Yeah.
You get into like yard signs or anything like that. Stuff like that's expensive. People don't talk about how expensive that kind of stuff is.
Oh, it's pretty expensive. I want to get a sign for my trailer. And then I want to go into like the t-shirt, sweatshirt kind of area too.
You should get your own Cricut and figure that out, and then you can put your own stuff all over or anything. You can do your trailer, you can do your truck, you could do I'm getting ready to do the car over again because now I'm adding the Mad Rabbit and all that nonsense into it. Speaking of, I am a Mad Rabbit ambassador. Hold on, let me grab some. I am a Mad Rabbit ambassador. Go to madrabbit.com. Use promo code Relentless20 in all caps, and that'll save you 20% off all Mad Rabbit products. Not just the Enhance, and not just the numbing cream. It is all products. That is cheaper than what I can resell it here in the store. That is cheaper than anybody can resell it in the store. And that's cheaper than you can get it at Walmart. Blah, 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 blah. So, Relentless20, all caps. Save you 20% off at madrabbit.com. Make sure you go check that out. I need to... Yep. I need a reference for this ship is what I'm doing. Anyway, so where I was going with all that is, again, without being boastful about it, but I kind of feel like I inspired you to get into the entrepreneurial kind of deal, which is awesome because I do have like 3 or 4 people that I did kind of like, hey, you should try this out and go into it. And I love that it's working out for you. I really, really do.
Especially promoting it.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot because I've done pictures and
it is a lot of extra work.
Yeah.
And then, and I have other people that I have gone into like I've had to do their graphic design. I've had to help them with setting up their LLCs and stuff like that. So much so that I think I might start offering it as a service to people to like sit down and help them build their own little whatever business that they got going on. I've gotten pretty good at it, especially now that we're kind of running like 3 different ones at one time. Okay, now I gotta print this stencil off real quick. So why, how did you get it? Why landscaping?
I just love the outdoors, really. That's the only reason why I started this up.
It is.
And I love mowing.
It's one of them avenues that makes it pretty easy, honestly. And it's one of them avenues that once you start getting into like commercial contracts and stuff, you can start making some crazy amounts of money. Yeah. And then it's even one of them avenues where eventually, I'm not saying that you wouldn't have to do any kind of work, but eventually it's your crews that are doing the physical work, and then you're just basically crew placing where they need to, and micromanaging and doing all the stuff and whatnot.
That's what I'm trying to get.
The hardest part.
If I would say like 50 clients, then I would hire a couple.
The hardest part of that is getting crew members that you can trust. Yeah, that's the hardest part of it. That's what took me the longest too. Excuse me, I just gotta grab a piece of paper here. That's what took me the longest too, for sure. Was finding people that were loyal and would stick around and would do a good job, because it's your name. That's your name on the line, and then a lot of people don't care about that, you know. And it's like you got to find. And you got to give them almost an incentive to care, if that makes sense. So you got to compensate them really well, or make sure you're treating your people right. So for me, like, we're a booth rent style shop, and that's mostly because I don't like stealing the money from my clientele. So we end up doing it that way, and that keeps my people happy. Keeps them from feeling like they're getting ripped off. Do you have employees now?
Nope.
No? So if you're in the northern Indiana region and you're looking for a job, I got one for you. Look, I'm over here getting people employed and stuff. So what's next, man? Where do you think your business is going next? You just trying to grow and grow and grow, and then are you doing like residential stuff right now, or are you more into the commercial side of it?
Do more residential than anything else.
Yeah.
And then I have a church that I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a bi-weekly, but
yeah. I think like a high grade commercial contract where you were like going around doing a bunch of like I don't know, like trailer parks or something. Like that would be cool. I did a lot of trailer parks. I used to mow a lot of trailer parks. It was an in-between job that I picked up at some point. That was actually a lot of fun, running around on a grasshopper all day.
Oh yeah. I love my 54-inch.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good time. Get your music going, not paying attention to nothing. Get a little bit of a tan going on. I'm looking for my printer app. There it is. These printer apps, man. Every stencil printer has a different app these days. When we started getting into these Bluetooth printers, so like I have a different app, Hannah's has a different app, Melina's has a different app. And yes, we all have our own stencil printers. The reason why we all have our own stencil printers is because, again, we're booth rent, and I was letting everybody use mine, and then it got to the point to where the Bluetooth from everybody's iPad was just confusing the shit out of my stencil printer, and we had to stop doing that. So then everybody kind of picked up their own. Everyone was getting so aggravated with my stencil printer that they started buying their own. Hold on just a second. Again, like I said, this whole multitasking thing, I didn't know how this was going to work out, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, right now I use an SUV to pull my stuff around.
An SUV.
Yeah.
That was my next question. Is what's your next like equipment and stuff that you need to park here?
Oh, it was a lot. I use a 4x8 trailer. I fit everything on it.
Yeah.
I want to get a truck. That's my first big purchase. And then after that, I'm going to get an enclosed trailer and hopefully get 2 or 3 more zero turns.
That's how it works out, man. And that's what people don't talk about when you get into doing this entrepreneurial kind of stuff. Is there's an endless amount of shit to buy.
Yeah.
Endless amount of shit to buy. It's like there's never a light at the end of the tunnel. You know, it's
sometimes you feel like you're putting more money than you are getting.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. But the one nice thing about it is, I always have money, or I always have the capability of procuring money.
Yeah.
Whereas on a 9 to 5 or something like that, you run out of money halfway through your bi-weekly paycheck, you're fucked. Yeah. And whereas in this instance, if I run out of money halfway through the week, I know that I need to schedule a tattoo tomorrow, you know? So, like, that's, I think, the best part of it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, is, I feel like I feel like I'm broke all the time.
Literally.
You know? Because I take my money as soon as I get it and I reinvest it into stupid shit, you know? So then I feel like I'm broke all the time. But then the flip side of that is there's always money available. You know,
It's always flowing in.
Yeah, when I need it. It's always flowing in and out, you know. And that's one thing that I do try. I think I've even told you this at one point. Like, you can't worry about the money. I mean, you need to worry about the money. You need to make sure that you have money coming in, right? But you can't worry about it. You really can't, because it's always in and out. It's always in and out. And you have to, if you get overly concerned about it, you're not investing like you need to be.
No.
Yeah. And you're not growing like you need to be.
That's when you're going to lose money.
Yeah, that's when you start losing money. That's when you start hitting that stagnant point and it's not doing what you need it to do. I'm trying to.
I got my own separate account, and I just don't. I don't keep track of my money like I do with my personal checking.
Yeah. I pay myself for
Yeah.
my bills, you know, and then everything else is like it's for the business, you know. Pay myself for my bills, and then everything else is kind of. I am getting into the point to where I have a lot of stuff going on, and I'm looking at getting a financial accountant or whatever that will manage all this stuff for me so that I can start focusing on other stuff. So if someone is listening and it does that kind of work, I need help. I need assistance. Because now it's like I have all the utilities for the house, all the utilities and stuff for the shop, and then it's also invest into TikToks. Now I have a lot of income coming in off of TikTok. Now it's also reinvest into merchandise, which is easy to do.
Yeah.
You know, like you start spending way too much on t-shirts and stuff and you're not paying attention. So, and that's bit me in the butt before a couple times, where like I thought that I was making a good investment, and I ordered a bunch of something, you know, and then I get here and then they didn't sell, or it ended up flopping or whatever.
So I'm looking at just doing a t-shirt and hoodie and wearing it around and see who buys it, who wants it.
I'm trying to make my own hats right now. That's what I'm trying to get into. So I figured out that you can get iron, like press-on iron patches custom made. And I've had them custom made off of Amazon even. And you just order a bunch of those, and then order a bunch of blank hats, and then get the little heat press for hats, and then you can make out a whole bunch of them, and then you can have like whatever color you hat or whatever hat you wanted, and put your own little patch on it, and then just irons on right there.
No shit.
Yeah, it's way cheaper than paying somebody else to make your own hats. Yeah, and for someone like you, where you're a landscaping company where they wear a lot of hats, that would be awesome for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, let me print this out real quick. I think this is about the right size. We going rough estimate it here. We going rough estimate it here. Print. There we go. Now we gotta wait on that for a second. I think for me, we finally have made a decision on the floor. So that's coming here real soon. And I think we're gonna end up doing a checkered pattern. I think that's gonna be pretty cool.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, like a dope, but we're just gonna use the stick-on tiles because it's already tile floor.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to grout it and all that stuff. So we're just gonna get the adhesive tiles. I'll get black and white ones, and we're just gonna go through and stick them down. I think that'll.
Tiling is not an easy job either.
It's not, no. And
I've
whoever
done that.
did it
Sucks.
Whoever did it messed it up. They used way too much glue and really messed everything up. Now it's seeping out throughout the place. And then parts of it are also the polish is rubbed off over there in front of the sink. They used some kind of chemical or something and it ruined the tile. I'm going to read these chats real quick. Hi, Anna. Popular. This is printed. It's printing right now. There we go. Once I get this stuck on him, like I said, this is kind of a different podcast today. I'm also tattooing, but I wanted to do that on purpose. Oh, that's going to be great. That fits there perfectly, yeah? All right, cool. We're not going to run all the water. I really only want the splashes.
Okay.
That way we can run them lines up into there. Alright. I gotta shave him down.
You're in a comfortable spot.
Alcohol.
Take a nap.
So, are you full-time landscaping right now, or
Yeah.
That's what's up. Finally made it into a full-time kind of deal. Not doing nothing else.
I was a CNA, but
Yeah.
that took a
alright.
plummet.
That's when I met you. Is you were CNA?
Yeah. Not no more.
Not no more.
No, over a false accusation.
So I bet you're so finally ready, or so excited to finally be done with all that.
Yeah. It's not fun wiping grandparents' butts.
Yeah, I get that, man. I get that. Or just clocking in for somebody else, oh gosh, I'm not. We need CNAs, we need nurses and stuff, and they're.
Oh, high praises is lows.
Yeah.
I did it for 3 years.
They're unappreciated and underpaid and whatnot.
Definitely underpaid.
And we do love our nurses. We need them. They're also dramatic, but stay away from the nurses. But we need them. We love them. But it is really nice when you finally break free of that 9 to 5 or clocking in and out for somebody else.
Those are 16-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts.
Yeah, or finally break free of the bi-weekly paychecks like we were just talking about. Now, money's more accessible. You may feel like you're broke, I definitely had a larger savings account when I was truck driving.
Oh, most definitely. That's where the money's at.
I had a larger savings account when I was truck driving, but that's because I didn't have to reinvest into. I make more income as a tattoo artist. Don't get me wrong. There's more money coming in as a tattoo artist, but when I was truck driving, I didn't have to reinvest. I didn't even have bills. I was living in a truck.
Mm-hmm.
So all that money I was making got saved and put right into a savings account. If anyone is thinking about getting into truck driving, I totally recommend it. It's a great gig, but not if you're a family man. If you have a family, it's not the greatest thing in the world. It makes it really, really hard.
Especially when you're like me, you got 4 kids.
Yeah, that would be oh man, I couldn't imagine. As a dad to have to take off.
What?
No, it would not be. I couldn't imagine. I have the one, and I'm pretty okay with that. Pretty okay with that.
Yeah.
I think.
Want to try for a girl?
Yeah. 2-3 years ago, I'd have been on the same train, but my son's just getting so old that I don't want to have to start over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like 2-3 years ago, if that would have worked out with his mom and she was all ready for another one, I'd be like, heck yeah, let's go. You know? I love being a dad. Would love to have another one. Would love to try.
For the world.
Yeah. Wouldn't change it for a world. Would love to try for a girl, but I just don't think the cards are or those cards are in my deck, you know?
Mine either.
He said, mine either. Yeah, you're just going to be stuck with a bunch of boys.
Yeah.
You're going to have a whole soccer team of boys before you're done.
Hopefully.
And so that's the plan. That's the plan. The whole bus, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a whole mini bus. Yeah, the whole mini bus, you know? And then, that'd be kind of cool, actually. Maybe you just, like, small house it. I think that'd be pretty cool. You could have all, and then, you know, just kick them out the bus for the day. You could be in, like, Nebraska or something, and it'd be all warm and whatnot. You know?
Like a whole travel soccer team.
Yeah, a whole travel soccer team. You could be in a warm climate all the time if you just lived in a bus. Then you could do landscaping contracts all over the United States. You have your enclosed trailer back behind the bus.
We don't have to pay $1,800 in rent.
Are you guys married? No.
Not yet.
So, I guess I should explain, but Malik's significant other is behind the camera here that you guys aren't seeing. Hannah's doing a tattoo on her arm. Hannah, what are you tattooing over there? Koi fish. I knew that, actually. I was watching her draw it. But yeah, back to the dad thing. I would not change it for the world. No. All right, so
Some days.
yeah, it depends on the day. It does. It depends on the day. No, that's not even true, actually. Because, like, some days, even when I'm mad at him, even at the end of the day, then I feel guilty for being mad at him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, dang it. We could have had such a better day if I would have just...
Just depends how they wake up.
That's true. That is very true. Some days, I swear, Triton wakes up just not paying attention to nothing. And other times, he'd be the best kid in the world. Just ready to hang out. There is a lot of times, though, where he'd be driving me nuts. And then at the end of the day, he'll come across, and I'm like watching him sleep, and I'm like, damn it, man, I didn't handle that situation so well, you know? Like, I could have done better. But also, I feel like you need that. Like, you need to be able to recognize that.
Yeah.
And also, like, kind of give yourself some grace, you know? Because this is the first time I've had to do this shit, you know? I don't know what I'm doing. Will you stand up for me, actually? I think this will end up kind of turned if we don't. There we go. People give me shit for the one glove thing. I only do it when I'm getting set up. I would never actually. And the reason I do that is because of those little things on the back of the stencils that are hard to take off. That's why I do it.
Right on the edge.
Hola. I know it's touching right there, but we're not gonna tattoo that. We'll go underneath him. Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Alright, that's looking good. Can you kind of show the cameras a little bit? Yeah? Right on. Cool, thank you. Alright, we gotta let that dry for just a couple minutes. Just a couple minutes. But yeah, I love being a dad. I wouldn't trade that for the world.
Me too.
We talk about it a lot in here. Triton's in here a lot, actually. Before we start the podcast, I'm going to retell this story because I just want to. But before we started the podcast, I was actually telling him that my son last night kicked me out of the bed. I was with the roommates for a while, then we transitioned to the house that I'm in now. And he has his own room and his own bed and everything, but we just, I didn't want to give that up yet, personally. Honestly, it was my own selfish reasons. I could have put him in his own bed at any point. But he finally kicked me out last night. He finally was like, oh, you need to sleep somewhere else. And it was all because he didn't want me changing a show in the middle of the night. It's like, dang it, man. They grow up. They grow up real fast. It's a blink of the eye.
Yeah. So
And
like yesterday, and I'm about to have a 1-year-old.
that's crazy. Yeah. That is crazy. Because I feel like it was yesterday she was in here pregnant, and like upset because she couldn't get tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally feels like it. Yeah, it literally feels like it was yesterday. So I get that, man. I do. I get that. And that sucks. It sucks. It's a blink of an eye.
2 6-year-olds and now a 5-year-old.
2 6-year-olds, 5-year-old, and a 1-year-old now,
Almost.
and almost a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
The 2 6-year-olds. I'm sure that's fun.
Keep us on our toes.
They occupy each other. That's fair. That's fair. I guess I didn't think about that. Whereas mine be driving me nuts more often because he don't got nobody else to go drive nuts, But that's a lot of times. So my cousin had a baby, like 2 months after Triton was born. So they're really, really close. They're really, really close in age. So we go hang out with them a lot, and that helps out. Or I'll go to the park or whatever, find other kids for him to mess around with. But the second there's not other kids around, he is right up my butt, driving me nuts. I don't normally use these needles, but they came with my machine, so I'm gonna give it a go. They are good quality, don't get me wrong.
May I? No.
You totally can, but not on TikTok. Yeah, there you go. You just gotta be over there a little bit. I'm struggling with this plastic right now. It's kicking my butt. Anyways, these are the masked needles. I usually use the WJX ones, so they're not far off of what I normally use.
What?
There's a 3. I'll use that one right there. Using a 3-round liner today. Oh, this is even Masked Pro, it says. Masked Pro. Throw all that away. Yeah. We're gonna give it a shot. Actually, I have used these before because I stole some from Tay. Alright, we're pretty well ready. I'm gonna switch this out. I too am gonna. I also need a truck. Have you been looking at trucks? Yeah. This is the wrong time to be. Well, it's kind of
Literally.
It's like not the best time to be looking at trucks.
I need one.
It's like trucks are hard though, because people will buy up all the trucks in the winter because they need 4-wheel drive. But then it's summertime and people end up buying up all the trucks because they want to go off-roading. So it's kind of a mixture of both.
We're looking at 2,500.
25. Yeah, you have to pull stuff, so that makes sense. I do not need a 2,500. I want either another Tahoe or what I really, really want.
If I will S10.
Yeah. No, what I really, really want and what I've always wanted ever since they come out, because I'm a 90s baby, I want an H2. I really want an H2. One of the big, bulky Hummers,
Yeah.
just one of the massive, bulky Hummers. I would settle for an H3 if I found the right price on one, but I really want an H2. Really want an H2. And anyone that doesn't know, the Hummers, the whole Hummer series is a GM product. It's essentially just a Tahoe. It's just a Tahoe. I used to work on them all the time. It's the same motor, same drivetrain. I think the frame might be shortened a little bit, but it's the same thing. All of like your Tahoe steering and suspension parts and whatnot go right on a Hummer. All the lift kits for Tahoes, blah, 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 as long as they're the same kind of year, goes right on a Hummer. I used to do it all the time. I was a GM technician back in the day in another life. That's what I'm looking for. You need, because you're pulling stuff.
We're looking at getting a camper too.
Yeah. I also would like to get a camper, but even if I got a camper, it's only just me and Triton, so I get a little one, I wouldn't need a massive one, whereas you need one that's got 17,000 beds in it, That would be cool, though. You get a camper, I get a camper, and then we post up right next to each other.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah, man, that would be a hell of a time.
Summer weekend camping trips.
Yeah, I'm so here for it. That would be a hell of a time.
Oh, yeah.
We could just leave the campers out there and just take off for the weekend, And I got Triton every other weekend. He loves to go camping. I've been looking at getting into camping or a camper here for a minute, actually.
My kid's been asking to go.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think that was the difference between buying a Tahoe and buying a Hummer. Is if I spent the extra money on a Hummer, then I wouldn't be able to get a camper, and I'd have to wait for a little while. Whereas if I bought a cheap Tahoe, then I could go ahead and buy a cheap camper too.
Yeah.
I'll buy a camper from the 80s and remodel it. I don't care. Gladly.
Put it in your own way and style.
Right. All right, you ready, man?
Yeah.
I would like to say that I am, but we'll find out. Actually, no, we need to draw on. Well, fuck it. We'll do that after because I don't want to switch my gloves. Alright, let's get right into this. I'm using Inkies as my tattoo glide. It's one of my favorite tattoo glides. I do sell it here as an aftercare product. Come on now. I was hitting the wrong button. There we go. I'm using a Mastfold, the original Mastfold, one of the best tattoo machines that Mast ever produced. So much so that they have redone it now. They have a Mastfold 2, which is also a super cool machine. I just don't like the style of batteries. I like my RCA batteries, so I tend to stick with these old school machines. I do have a Bishop color packer with the 5.0 throw. That again, I use these RCA style machine batteries for, and that's the whole reason why I tend to stick with the RCA stuff. And I know a lot of people would be like, well, they come with little adapters, and it's like, well, why would I want to put the adapter on there?
At least don't have the really old school ones.
Yeah, the old coil machines, with the
negative and positive.
We would not be able to have this podcast right now if I was running a coil machine. You would never hear anything that we were saying. They're so loud. So
freaking
loud.
Hurt.
They do. They hurt more too. All right, here we go, man. Ready?
Yup.
All right, so what got you into tattoos?
The pain.
The pain.
Yeah. And let's come in here. It's like a tattoo pain, and you get a therapist.
Yeah, an uncertified one. The pain is, I think people get confused on that. It's not that people genuinely are excited about being in the pain. It's more that when you're getting drilled on, when you're getting tattooed and there's pain involved, that's all you can really focus on. That's all your brain can really think about. You know, it's like, ow, this kind of fucking hurts.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't, like, all the stresses of your life and whatnot just kind of fade away. At least for that hour or two that you're getting drilled on. And then you get to leave with a nice little piece of art and a little bit of a boost of confidence so that you can go out there and tackle whatever it is that you got going on that you need to tackle. And that's what I love about being a tattoo artist, is that I'm literally pumping confidence into people so that they have the ability to go out and better themselves. You know, it's the best way I can think of putting it. Have the ability to go out and start doing stuff.
Oh, I agree.
You know what we also need to do? We need to plan another trip to Indiana Beach.
Yes.
Indiana Beach, yeah. You know what's funny is I was just talking about Indiana Beach on a TikTok live the other day. Somebody was like, I went to Indiana and I went to this random museum or amusement park that was on a lake, and I can't remember the name. You know, I was like, it's Indiana Beach, yeah. And then we started talking about it, and I was just kind of explaining to them. It was like, well, from a Indiana native, like, we know that's one of the most dangerous amusement parks that you could ever go to.
Literally.
Like, it is so just janky. And how many people have died there already? I want to say it's like 3 or 4. Yeah, like it's a decent number. Now, granted, people die at amusement parks all the time, but this one in particularly, so much so that it has changed hands. Like, I damn near every year, like every other year, it gets sold, and then somebody else buys it.
Keeping up and running.
It is. It's still up and running. It would be hard to shut down. Like, it would cost so much more.
Mm-hmm.
They do. They make way too much money, and like, what are you gonna do with all that stuff? You know, you're just gonna leave it there, and
Now if they updated the stuff.
yeah, but I don't even feel like Monticello would not allow that to be abandoned right in the middle of their lake. You know, I wouldn't think so. But I do feel like it would be better off if, like, the government got a hold of it. Weirdly.
With our government?
I know. I was getting ready to say weirdly enough. But I do think that it would be dumb from a client standpoint, from like a consumer standpoint. There'd be so many regulations and stuff. It would be kind of dumb. But safety-wise, it would probably be a lot better.
Bunch of updates.
Yeah, bunch of updates. Every time it changes hands, though, it's like somebody, like they add a new ride or something. They don't care about the safety. They just add another ride. They're like, we got to promote this. But am I still going to go? Yeah.
Most definitely.
Is it still? It's like, I feel like the fact that you could die is almost part of the thrill, you know?
Yeah. It's called living on the edge.
Yeah. Living on the whim of a roller coaster seatbelt. Just running through these waves real quick, and then we start working on the ship part. And end up having to probably print off this reference here in a minute, just so I can see. Yeah, man, we should definitely get that figured out at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Here soon, too, because it's definitely the weather for it. Well, I don't know. It seems like it. Indiana weather, come on now. It's like it'll warm up and then it'll be 60 degrees for the next week, you know? Every time.
And then rain.
Yeah, and then rain for 4 days.
Surprised they haven't gotten snow.
Honestly, you're right about that one. I'm surprised we haven't. Usually we have by now, honestly.
Yeah. Indiana is the butthole of America.
Yeah, for sure. There's like a lot of I've started to notice this though. There's a lot of like TikTokers and like influencers and stuff that are from Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it solely has to do I because I was a truck driver, I think I know what it is. I do. It's because people in Indiana have, or even in the Midwest, have crazy internet service. People don't realize that. We have some of the craziest internet service in the rest compared to the rest of the country. Like if you go down south, like Alabama or something like that, it's so widespread that their internet service sucks.
Mm-hmm.
If you go into Texas or something, the same way, it's so widespread their internet service sucks. A lot of Cali, unless you're in like LA or something like that, all their internet service sucks. So if you notice, like a lot of the influencers and stuff, they end up in areas where the internet service is really, really well. And I think that's why we have so many in Indiana, is because the internet service is crazy here. Although we still bitch about it. We'll still bitch. But I've been all over the country, so I kind of know that it's not like this everywhere. In fact, you get into like Arizona and stuff, and then trying to find internet service out there is dang near next to impossible, unless you're in Phoenix or something like that.
There's no service?
Not really. Not out in like the rural areas. Yeah. It's really hard to find service. How's this feeling, man?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People tell me that I'm light-handed. I don't know if that's like I don't know. Because I
Some
can't.
people I went, yes.
Yeah. I feel like it just kind of depends on the tattoo, though. Because, like, a full color piece is definitely. There's not really a light-handed way to go about doing something like that.
Yeah.
It's just full.
The shoulders, never get them done again.
I would imagine that sucks. Actually, I know that sucks because I kind of have some too.
The guy I went to was so heavy-handed.
That's like a lot of color too in that. You know?
Yeah.
That would definitely suck. Alright. It came faster than I thought. I'm going to take a minute and print this stencil out. Or this reference out.
I white bare knuckled everything when I got my shoulders done.
Normally I would have my iPad over here with my reference over here somewhere where I could look at it. But I'm running a podcast off my iPad, so I'm going to have to print it off. Just a second. Turn the printer on here. You still want more kids? That's
One more.
one more.
Yeah.
One more. That's 5 though.
Mm-hmm.
That's minivan status, man.
She'll never drive a minivan.
That's minivan status. No.
Soccer mom van.
You should have to get you like a 3rd row seat Suburban. Yeah, you are. Yeah. But like you said, they kind of take care of each other, you know?
Listen, my 87 personalities cannot handle.
I've heard.
87, that's going light.
Yeah. That's light. That light work.
That's like Will Ferrell in the elevator. In that one movie. Pushing all the buttons. At least over 100.
At least over 100. That's funny.
What?
They're bullying you. That's why we like them, though, isn't it? That's why we like them. Because you never know what you're going to get the next day. You never know what personality you're going to get. Keeps it interesting.
No, you can say I'm breaking up my personality number 6. I want 84.
Yeah. Can we switch it? You don't get to put in requests, though. That's not how that works. You know, you just kind of get stuck with whatever you
Usually
got.
I get lucky. I can push like 4. I'm like, no, I get tired of that one. I'll go to like 8.
Yeah. You push the button for like personality 86 and it ends up with personality 87. You just you know. You yeah, you get to push the button to
Where's the
make
delete button?
you can make it change, but you can't tell it what one to go to.
Then you get really on the days. It's like you push 55 and it's like you get 94. It's like, man, this button lied to me.
Yep, this button done lied. She said, "You guys are mean." It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Nobody else is using this, so I'm just gonna use this. Is what's honestly gonna happen. I'm taking over the shop iPad today. Come. There we go. Now I know what's going on here. Cool. Maybe. Not charging.
Are you blacking out? No open areas?
Eventually I'll end up blacking out a lot of it, yeah. Just because I don't like the way it was done. Well, do I want an entire blackout arm? No. Maybe. Hell, I don't know. I might end up blacking out the whole thing and then putting white on top of it or something. That seems to be my thing here recently, is putting white in places I shouldn't. I'm not reading any of these comments. Let's see the TikTok comments real quick.
What are they saying?
I got Hayes, Bubbles. Tori jumped on there for a while. Alright, keep going.
What?
Ta-da. So is there a reason why you kind of picked a nautical theme? Or was it just something you were into?
For this boat?
Or, I mean, you kind of have like a nautical kind of theme for your whole entire sleeve. Or for this arm, I guess. Or you just finding images and you're like, yep, that one.
Yeah.
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 Some people plan it out, some people don't.
But I do like how it turned out, though. Everything kind of like swings together.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't think about that when they're getting into tattoos either. They start putting things here and there and here and there, and the next thing they know, they got to kind of make it all work together somehow.
Mine surprisingly worked all together. He's had a couple.
I'm trying to make my entire, like an entire bodysuit that kind of works together, and that's kind of like I screwed myself when I did it too, because I'm like, yeah, I got random stuff all over the place.
Well, you've seen those people getting laugh gas or whatever, passing out and doing a whole body.
Yep. Or the anesthesia stuff.
Yeah.
They finally had someone die from that. They did. They've had multiple people die from it. It is not safe. People don't talk about that. Yeah, they don't wake up. They don't wake up. That's, people don't talk about that. Anesthesiology, there are problems with it. If you have too much of it, you won't wake up.
Eternal sleep?
Yep. But yeah, we did kind of go through like a nautical theme, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. It blended well.
Not planned at all, though.
No. Just glad today my right arm will be done.
Yeah? Is this the end of it then?
Mm-hmm. And to do my hand later. And then on to my left arm.
She's doing her hand later?
Yeah.
What are we doing on her hand? I'm curious.
It's like a skull. Yeah, like a skull and a flower.
I'll bet. Oh, yeah.
She found that on TikTok. She's like, it would go well because you got skulls and stuff on your hand.
No, I'm here for it. That is going to be pretty cool. Actually, we got to talk about that for a minute too, because that's a good point. There was a point, wasn't that long ago actually, where you approached me and you're like, "Hey, I'm gonna get a tattoo from Hannah," and you're like, "You're not gonna be mad about this." Yeah, that totally happened, and I want to say that on camera mainly because there are artists out there that do care, I guess, and would be upset about it. But you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. An artist should never care about that. Just because a client goes off and gets a tattoo from somebody else, and then you're gonna like be all butthurt about it. Like, that's so stupid. Or especially if they're in your own shop. Like, you should definitely promote and try to encourage your own people.
Well, I did that out of respect too.
No, I totally appreciate you, for sure.
Because I was gonna do that, and then Lauren was just like, "You know, do you think Austin's gonna be mad?" I was like, "Oh shit, I don't know."
No. I very much think of it like, just like if you were going to go collecting paintings or something, you wouldn't get a bunch of paintings from one artist. You might get multiple paintings from one artist, but a true collector is going to have a bunch of different paintings from a bunch of different artists. And it's like the same thing with tattoos. Now, I do like my people that continuously come back to me and continuously get more tattoos from me. But I don't have to be the only one tattooing you. In fact, if your goal or your mission is full body coverage, I ain't got time for that. You're gonna need multiple tattoo artists. Again, all these people that are going under anesthesia and getting like full back pieces and stuff, it's not one tattoo artist. They're going under anesthesia and getting full back pieces from 6 people all at once. That's why they're going under anesthesia. So, like, no, I would never. I honestly feel like you should collect a couple different tattoo artists that you like. If they all happen to be in the same shop, that's even a plus.
I got my 2.
I'm so here for that. So here for it. Why? Why? That's a good question, actually. Why? Why do you keep coming back to this particular shop?
It's like family oriented. Like, you're not like just my tattoo artist. You're more like a brother, and we hang out and do stuff.
That's very true.
I mean, hell, you show up to my oldest son's birthday party. You're coming to my almost 1-year-old.
That's how I try to operate this, though. You know. Not to mention, like, it's not even like it's a front either. Like we just genuine buddies, you know. And I try to be genuine buddies with a lot of people, with everybody that comes in here. And yeah, it's.
You know, they invited T's birthday party, then, you know.
Right.
My car decided to take a shit.
I still appreciate the shit out of you for trying, you know.
Came all the way to Kokomo. Literally was all outskirts of Kokomo.
All the way here.
And then boom.
Boom, no more car.
No.
And that was a service, too, wasn't it? That was like, what ended up happening with it?
Yeah.
A blown hose?
Yeah, radio hose.
But didn't that end
Coolant.
up... Yeah? Didn't that end up, like, overheating or something? And,
Yeah. Opened the hood and just white smoke everywhere.
Gosh.
And then took it to her brother who lives here in town. And that's when I decided to ramp a car dolly.
Right, and then the car dolly did more damage.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had to change all 4 of my struts.
Dang it. That's crazy. Car dollies. A what? Yeah, but I'd highly recommend against it. Because it don't stay. No. Yeah. Does not. If you guys didn't hear that, she was talking about Blacklight ink. And I do have some. And we kind of use it here and there. But it's more like a accent kind of deal. You know? Like if something needs to kind of glow.
Dude, on my arms.
Like the best example that I can give is I did one of the ghouls from Scooby Doo, and I made his eyes glow yellow.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, but I would never color the whole thing with glow in the dark ink because it's not gonna stay. And I will honestly tell you, even those eyes didn't stay the greatest. They were even such a small little area, and packing all that ink in there, and it still didn't stay the best.
I like the few color I got.
And I've heard, I don't know if this is actually true or not, but I've heard that the UV ink will burn if you ever get like an MRI. Now, it's not like a crazy burn, but it's a little bit of like you feel the heat in your skin if you get like an
A
MRI.
little tingling sensation.
Yeah.
If your arms asleep.
Yeah. Or an X-ray or something like that. Now, again, I don't know if that's true. I'm only, I guess, spreading rumors, but it makes sense, you know. I feel like it would pick up on the extra UV.
My scar burn's gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty dope. The cover up too. We didn't even know it.
Mm-hmm. I was dumb as a teenager.
Speaking of cover-ups, I have finally just accepted that I am a cover-up artist. Like, I still do other pieces, obviously, that aren't cover-ups, but that's kind of what I specialize in these days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do a lot of them. A lot of cover-ups. I haven't covered any of yours, have I? No? But yeah, I get a lot of cover-ups. And I've gotten pretty good at them.
Hell yeah.
And now I do kind of promote that. Nobody else around here really wants to do them either, so.
Bring some more business.
Yeah, I'm not mad
That's
about
something
it.
fun.
It is kind of fun, actually. What I love about doing cover-ups is they're the easiest clients to please. Yeah, because they've already got really crappy artwork on their arm. So as long as you do just even like a little bit better than that, they're pretty happy, you know. And that's why I like it. That and it's like I don't genuinely. I mean, sometimes there's a stencil involved, but a lot of times it's like a freehand kind of ordeal. And I do love doing freehand tattoos.
There's the shoulder.
Yeah. Hannah was just doing mine the other day, and I was complaining about it too. It's like, oh, that shoulder bone sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It does. That shoulder bone sucks.
Not a pretty feeling.
I'm so ready for some lunch. I'm hungry already.
Oh, me too. I haven't ate.
Haven't either.
If I did that, I'd stop 4 times on the way here.
You might want to get that checked out.
Got my gallbladder removed.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That is, yep, that'll do it.
Yeah. I'm on a seafood diet too.
Me too.
You seafood and eat it?
No. I'm actually on a low carb. Well, I was on low carb, and then low carb was messing me up because my blood sugar was getting too low.
Oh damn.
Yeah. So then I've been actually counting my calories and being really, really stringent with all of that.
They eat more meaty foods though. I'm just trying to gain 200. I'm just trying to get to 200 pounds.
Yeah.
It's the most difficult thing ever.
Everyone goes through their own. So like for the little guys, it's hard to put on weight, but then for the big guys, it's hard to lose it.
Yeah.
So like I'm trying to find my abs for the first time in my life.
I had them in high school. Now they're gone.
Yeah, but if you were to like try, you would find it a lot faster than I would.
About the same build.
Now, I used to be 250 pounds though.
No kidding.
Yeah, coming out of high school, I was 250 pounds. Oh yeah, that's where all these stretch marks and stuff came from. It used to be
I
huge.
did not know that.
Yeah, we're the same build now. But that's only because I've been after trying, you know.
Yeah.
It was my grandma's cooking. My grandma's cooking got me, is what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sophomore year, I looked about like this, and was in like soccer and football and doing all this, you know. So I stayed in shape, and then my senior year, well, my junior year, I moved in with my grandma and put on a bunch of weight, and that was after soccer season. It was towards the end of the year, so I put on a bunch of weight, and then my senior year came around, and I was so far behind on all my grades that I didn't end up doing any sports, and then I was also working, so I didn't do any sports. And I put on a ton of weight real fast.
Oh damn. Somebody grandma's cooking.
Grandma's, man.
My grandma lives in Brownsburg, and we were actually talking because we were there the last month or something. Like, yeah, we're about to move in. She makes everything from scratch.
Honestly. But now, here recently, I've been trying to make everything from scratch. Because it's, man, the calorie counts are so much better when you actually do things by yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Like you get,
And it tastes better.
yeah, and it tastes better. Like you can get a cheeseburger meal from McDonald's, and it's going to be like 9,000 calories, right? Where you can make your own cheeseburger and fries at home, and it'd be a fraction of that.
Mm-hmm. Good old turkey burger.
Right. Some low carb bread,
Yeah.
and just air fry some potato. It's good stuff, honestly.
It was air fryer. We destroy that thing. We use it all the time.
Oh yeah, especially when you got 4 kids. I can only imagine how often you use it.
A lot of chicken nuggets.
Lots of
Thank God they
nuggies.
love that.
Lots of nuggies. I too be doing lots of nuggies.
I'm trying to get a dinosaur nuggets.
I switched. I started getting the chicken strips from Walmart. They're a little bit better, I think. At least they taste better for me. Triton don't seem to mind too much.
Dino nuggets. Dino nuggets. What can you say about them? You get to play with your food and eat it.
They are pretty awesome. Have you started branching out with the Dino Nuggets though?
No.
You got to make like a chicken parmesan or something out of Dino Nuggets. I promise you, it's really good. Yeah,
Really?
it's amazing. Or take like chicken Alfredo and just do it with Dino Nuggets instead of chicken.
We're definitely doing that.
Yeah, you got to give it a shot. do like a dino nugget tater tot casserole. That was pretty good. I tried that.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was actually fire. It was a tater tot casserole with like dino nuggets in it. Oh yeah.
I've had tater tot casserole since I got let go from Ben-Hur.
I love tater tot casserole. I'm over here talking about low carbs and calorie counts and
This is the flavor of the food.
yeah.
How bad is the elbow? Right on the elbow.
I think it sucks.
Awesome. Thank God I just have an X. What do you suggest? The X for black or red?
For your elbow, I would definitely do black because red's never gonna stay. Yeah, for sure.
Sweet.
Especially with you doing lawn care and stuff.
Yeah.
You just beat the shit out of it and then it won't stay.
How my hands are. My fingers are fading.
That's to be expected too.
Yeah.
That's definitely to be expected.
Still turned out really well though.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Love it. And it's come a long way since coming in here. Actually, they all kind of have.
Yeah.
That's one thing I tell them a lot too is, like, I'm not. They get such a misconception about what the apprenticeship is or how an apprenticeship is, and it's called an apprenticeship. It's not class. You know, this isn't tattoo school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called an apprenticeship, and I'm not sitting down. I mean, we do. We sit down and we teach and talk about stuff sometimes, but not near as much as what people would think or as much as what people come in and expect. That's not the premise of an apprenticeship. An apprenticeship is literally what it sounds like. Like, you need to come in here and learn the lifestyle and be in the environment is really what it is. You need to be in the environment, put yourself in the right position so that you and be a wealth or a sponge of knowledge and start collecting all that from everybody else, you know, and start learning the lifestyle and whatnot and this and that. Like, I could sit someone down and we could sit here and do a classroom style, like, hey, you need to do this and this and this and this all day long. But what I started to realize out of that is they don't retain that information. Like, it's in one ear and then out the other.
Hands on.
Yeah, it's a hands-on deal.
That's how I am.
They don't retain that information, and it's like I just have to say it over and over and over again, and then they're in their head because I'm over their shoulder watching what they're doing, and they're not,
I'm nervous. All the
they're
jitters coming
nervous
from
and jitty, and when you're tattooing, you can't have that because that'll get your hands all shaky and stuff, you know.
I mean, how the times I've come in here, what she started, she was just drawing.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where there's just drawing, but it's just putting them in the environment and then being the mentor that they need in case they do have questions or they do run into problems, or, you know, there's someone on social media that's beating them up, or, you know, there's so much more to it than just, hey, here's a tattoo machine, figure this out. There's so much more to it than that. It's, you need to learn how to deal with unruly clients. You need to learn how to run social media. You need to do all this and do all that. You need to learn Procreate. There's so many people that come in here and they don't know how to use the tablet, and I have to kind of run through that.
So I got my tablet.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You definitely should. I feel like anybody that is in the entrepreneurial world needs to buy an iPad and try to figure out some Procreate stuff, because if you're gonna do your own advertising, you need a good graphic design platform so that you can do kind of your own
Genre style.
no, so you can do your own posters and flyers and create your own social media content stuff.
I'm just
If you-
stuck on the picture I want for mine.
If you were gonna have to pay a graphic designer every time you want something like that done, it'd get so expensive, and that would kill your profit margin. So I do think that entrepreneurs should buy things like that and try to get into it. All right, that simple line work is on.
I'm just stuck on my design. With it being Gator Care.
Gator Care.
Yeah. Actually, on the way here, I got a call about stump removal.
A stump removal.
9 of them.
You getting into stump removals?
Kind of, sort of.
That sounds like a job.
Yeah.
How do you go about removing stumps? Do you
Shovel and an axe. Take the roots.
really?
That's how I do it. You can get a stump grinder,
Yeah.
but I don't got one yet.
So you just got to dig out the whole stump.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's hard work right there. Dang. Isn't there easier ways to do this? Couldn't you like burn it or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cut out a little part in the middle.
Yeah.
And then
Hold out the
fire-
middle
yeah.
and then just put a fire down in there. Yeah. And then it'll just burn all the way down through.
Yeah.
I figured that would probably be the best way. Yeah, but then you still have to go through and you have to get all the
Yeah.
remaining tree out, don't you? Or at
Mhm.
least fill the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that still would take time.
You just sit there and watch the fire. And,
Yeah. Or else it'd probably be faster to just rip it out.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. But if you had like
Hell,
a
if I had a truck, I
Yeah.
just could have freaking dig a little hole, put a chain on it,
or even like
rip it out.
like a backhoe or something,
Yeah.
you know, like some heavy equipment, you can just run up, dig a hole all the way around it, and then just,
Yeah.
there's your stuff.
Oh, backhoe's $500-$600 where I was calling
Yeah.
to rent one.
To rent one, yeah. That you probably need to end up buying your own at
Yeah.
some point.
I drove a skid steer yesterday for this one
Yeah.
landscaping job for this church where my kids go for daycare.
That's what you need is a
I
skid
want
steer.
one.
You do. You need a skid steer.
Figured out how to drive it. Good old YouTube.
Oh yeah, it don't take long.
First time ever driving one too, and I got it, and I was like, man, hell yeah, I want one now.
Yeah, because they're not hard to drive.
No.
No. It's a lot like a zero turn,
Mhm.
honestly.
The only thing confusing is the left handle on the cat skid steer that I drove. This is like the move it and drive it, and then the other,
Is the arm.
yeah, is the
Yeah.
arm and move it up and down, and
So the one I drove, again, it was like a zero turn mower. So your arms, that was what controlled your tracks. So both of them would go forward. If you wanted to turn, you had to kind of,
yeah,
And then for your boom arm, it had toggle buttons that were on top of the
yeah.
So yeah, you were in like a different one almost. Yeah, that's cool.
Never drove one until yesterday.
That is pretty cool. Read these comments real quick. But yeah, you definitely need one for sure. They're expensive though.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, that's what, like 50 thou.
Just used is like 10.
Used is 10. Yeah, that's decent. That's a
Yeah.
decent little. And then you got like maintenance costs and all that. Yeah.
Just not like the whole tracks, like the, what is it? Triangle formation, whatever tracks.
Now, are you running under an LLC or are you running under a sole proprietorship?
LLC.
LLC. Have you gotten into any sort of LLC credit type stuff yet with your EIN number? I would recommend that. Try to get like a prepaid credit card or something underneath your EIN number, and then start.
So I have a business card
Yeah, like
through the
a
bank.
like from the bank.
Yeah, because they helped me set it up.
Is it for is it a credit or is it a debit? Yeah, I don't know.
Credit?
So then you might already be building credit.
Debit,
That's a debit.
business debit.
Debit. So then go back to the bank and see if they'll give you a credit. Now that you have your business account and everything and it's
Yeah.
been up for a while, try to get a business credit card.
2 years going.
And that'll start building your EIN number. It's kind of like a credit score. Like your EIN number is the same thing as the social security number.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. The only difference is your EIN number actually starts at 0. Whereas your credit score number, usually you're starting when you get fresh into the gate, you're like 400 or 500 somewhere in there. No, your EIN number starts at fucking 0. You got to build all the way up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely look into that then.
Yes, but start doing that, and then you'll start getting business loans. Once you start building that EIN number up, go back into the bank. Hey, I need a business loan, $10K, so I can get a skid steer, yada yada yada.
Do that for a truck too.
You can do that for a truck too. Now, what's really, really nice about this is, like, it's kind of like you got to have a decent credit score in order to get a personal loan, right?
Yeah.
You got to have a decent little credit score. Your EIN number, they'll give you business loans pretty easily, because the reason being is because they have something that they can come take, right? So they'll give you all kinds of stuff. Yeah, they'll be like, here's money, you know, because if you don't end up paying it, then they're going to come take your whole LLC. Yeah. Whereas the personal loan, if you don't pay your personal loan, they ain't got no collateral that they can come get. So you'll start getting business loans out the yin yang.
Definitely want to call the bank Monday then.
Yeah.
I've been trying to push to get more.
I don't use bank business loans very often. I usually use my Square business loans, but it's kind of the same deal. The more my EIN number grows, the bigger those loans are. Or it also kind of goes off of like how much money you have in your account too. So like right before you were to go get a business loan, shove $3-4 grand into your business checking account, and they'll see that sitting there, and then they'll be like, oh well, now he has even more stuff that we could take, so let's give him even more money. You know what I mean?
My mindset's in my checking.
I go back and forth. I've really been on this Bitcoin train here recently.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of money in Bitcoin. Have you been paying attention to Bitcoin?
Mm-mm.
You should, man. You really should. All the girls around here are tired of me talking about it, but they still aren't doing nothing about it. Nope.
I have like $8
But
I think I got like $6.
I'm a firm believer that the U.S. dollar is going to fall on its ass here real soon, and that Bitcoin's going to take over. To be completely honest,
Oh, a dollar doesn't even mean nothing.
no, it don't really mean nothing no more. Especially to foreign countries,
Yeah.
which is crazy because it's supposed to be the currency of the world right now, and most of the foreign countries don't want to even recognize. But I'm a firm believer that Bitcoin's going to end up taking over, and whoever's got a bunch of money in Bitcoin, when it does end up switching, you're going to make a ton of money off of it.
Yeah.
Bitcoin will end up hitting like, if it gets up to 500,000 for one Bitcoin, like that's money right there. We're sitting at 100,000 right now, so if it just were to,
Damn.
yeah, could you imagine?
I'll pay off all my stuff.
Absolutely. But it is a massive waiting game. You
Yeah.
know, you never know when it's going to just like take off. And there are people There was a lot of people that lost their ass here recently too, because it was all the way up at $100,000 at the beginning or at the end of last year, and then in January when Trump started doing all them tariffs and stuff, it fell all the way down to $74,000. So like anybody that wasn't paying attention during that lost out on a lot of money. You know?
Damn.
But all you had to do, now we're back up at $105,000. Right, so all you had to do was wait.
Yeah.
You know, all you had to do was wait it out. Like, yeah, you lost a bunch of money there for a couple months, but if you keep your money in and wait, it's gonna come back up. It can't not come back up. Unless they started talking about shutting Bitcoin down, then you need to get all your money out of it real fast. But I think Bitcoin's already to the point to where it couldn't be shut down. They got like the Bitcoins and ATMs and stuff are popping up everywhere, man.
Really?
Everywhere. There's like, yeah, and gas stations and shit here in town, and yeah, they're popping up everywhere. Start paying attention to those. You'll start seeing them everywhere. Bitcoin ATMs, all over the fucking place. You can look up a map right now of Bitcoin ATMs in Kokomo, and there's like 27 of them.
Holy hell.
Yeah. And no one's really paying attention to it. Highly recommend to do your research on the US dollar and the world currencies, because history always ends up repeating itself, right? And it's about every 100 years, world currency will flip-flop to a different country's, or to just a different currency.
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of right at that mark. We're right at that mark where currency is about to start flipping. And history is repeating itself. It's always whoever's got the world currency, they usually end up in, a bunch of debt with everybody. And then that dollar will do. And then they're like, all right, we can't take this anymore, and flip it off onto somebody else. And then that person's currency will do.
Yeah.
But now it's going to be Bitcoin. And it's not going to be tied to any one country. So then it shouldn't, if everyone's getting into it, the whole world's getting into it, it's just going to skyrocket. And that's when the money comes in.
I'm ready for my money to start coming in.
And that's the train I've been on here recently, is I want to make as much money as I can and then dump it all into Bitcoin and then just wait.
Yeah.
Just wait. I actually kind of lucked out. And it wasn't really luck, I was paying attention, but so I used to own this house right across the street here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I bought it before COVID for right around $75,000. And then I sold it not too long ago. I ended up selling it for about $125,000. So I made some money off of it, yeah. But like after closing costs and everything, it wasn't all that, But I was still sitting on a decent little chunk of money. The problem that I ran into though is I was going to turn around and buy another house. But to turn around and take that money and buy another house, I would have lost my ass, because now the market is so up. So like to buy a house that was equal value, it was going to cost me like $200,000.
Dear Lord.
Yeah, so it's like I lost my ass.
That's why we're stuck renting. That's so freaking high.
That's why I'm stuck renting right now. And I'm still like looking into other houses and stuff, but well, what I ended up doing with all that money, it was just sitting in my savings account, and then I started getting into this Bitcoin stuff. So like right around April or so, and Bitcoin at that time was sitting at about $84,000. So I took all that money I had just made off this house and I threw it into Bitcoin, and I've been sitting on it. and now
Oh damn!
now Bitcoin went from $84,000 all the way up to $105,000. So
Holy crap!
yeah, I made a decent little investment off of. No, I will say that though is you kind of have to have a decent little chunk of change in Bitcoin in order for it to really start doing some stuff.
Yeah.
But now is definitely the time to try to build up your Bitcoin portfolio because it's gonna take off. It's hit 100 something thousand twice now. You know?
Big chunk of money.
Yeah. And all you gotta do is pay attention to it. The apps that allow you to trade through crypto, they usually have like an alert feature to where if it drops too low, it'll alert you so that you can get your money out real fast. Or the opposite of that is it dropped down to real low, and maybe that would be a good time to buy a bunch of it. Like, yeah, you maybe have lost a couple dollars or something, but maybe you need to buy some more into it. Which is the route I usually go. Anytime I see it down, I'm like, all right, let me throw another couple $100 in there real quick. This tattoo in particular is really just a lot of line work.
A lot.
Yeah. There will be some shading kind of like towards the end, but it's really just a ton of line work. A ton of like really small line work too.
Turned out dope as hell though.
Yeah, it is. It's looking good. So, are you working on any big contracts right now?
Not really.
No. Just trying to work the ones you got.
Yeah. I work for this one dude. He has like 4 rentals. 3. Make a good, pretty penny monthly off him.
That's what you need is people that own a bunch of rentals.
Yeah. I have 1. Hoping to get more soon.
Yeah, you need a bunch of them guys.
Quite nice though. In the winter, I do some interior stuff. Flooring, drywall,
Right.
painting. But my lady does that.
You get a big old truck, you start doing snowplow stuff.
Yeah. I did that for a nursing home. Myself and a shovel.
Yeah.
Whole parking lot. It's probably a 30-40 car parking lot.
Again, something you could use a skid steer for too.
Yeah. My ass is out there and hand shovel and went on with it.
Right. That is a important part of entrepreneurship, though. So everyone thinks that it just like happens overnight, that you get this massive amount of money that just falls into your lap and then you start a business, and that's genuinely not how this works. That's not how this works at all.
Started with nothing.
You start with nothing, and you work with what you got until it turns into something.
I did an acre yard for a while with the push mower.
Yep. You gotta start with absolutely nothing before you have all the cool toys.
Yeah. Actually, I started with the weed eater. Stole my mom's push mower.
That's I started this in an extra bedroom of that house that I was just talking about. Working with what I got.
Yep. Started with weed eater and then got a mower, and one summer ended up with a 54-inch zero turn.
Yeah, you just keep building.
Yeah.
Building.
And then from that's when I got a trailer.
Now we need the truck.
Yep. After a truck is an enclosed trailer. Bought a truck for like $12,000-13,000. I was gonna walk in with cash. Let me drive it off.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
That way you ain't paying payments and all that. Unless you can get your truck underneath your EIN number, then I would recommend paying payments, because then it's a tax write-off. It's a tax write-off for the next however many years.
Yeah.
Whereas if you buy it outright with cash, it's a tax write-off for 1 year.
No kidding.
It's one really big tax write-off. Yeah. So if you buy it underneath your EIN number and you lump sum it, it's only a tax write-off for that 1 year. Now it's one big ass tax write-off. You might not have to pay taxes that year, right? But it's better to pay the payments on it, build your EIN number, and then use that as a tax write-off for the next however many years.
I might do that then.
Yep.
So that route.
Yep, it is a tax write-off. And those tax write-offs are important.
Yep. I have a whole year thing folder. Every receipt goes in it.
Yeah. Yep, you got to.
It's quite nice to buy lunch with it.
Yeah. Lunch, shoes, whatever,
I've been doing food and drink. Of course, gas.
Yeah, you gotta track those miles and stuff too.
Oh, I haven't been doing that.
Get an app. Get you a tracking app that does it for you.
Probably just a day.
Yeah. It runs off your location service, so it'll kind of kill your phone battery. But anytime you're like, okay, I'm driving for work, just track your miles. And then you have a whole log at the end of the year. I don't do a lot of driving for this, but the little bit that I do, I will track my miles.
I'll start doing that.
But again, the Mustang I bought underneath the LLC. So the Mustang is underneath the EIN number. So therefore, I kind of, like, I don't really need to track my miles, if that makes sense. Because, like, the car payment, the insurance, the maintenance, all that stuff is all tax write-offs. Whereas that's a bigger chunk of tax write-off. I don't drive enough for the miles to really affect much. Now, if I were someone where I had to drive like all day, every day, or across state, or go check on all my crews every day, or something like that, you need to track those. You need to track those miles.
Yeah, definitely need to get into it out there.
Yeah, because they will add up very quickly. Another nice thing, the upgrades are still tax write-offs too. So you can put a big old fancy lift kit on your truck, and it's a tax write-off.
New on truck has a 6-inch lift.
Yep, I got a buddy, runs an automotive service that I tattoo here in town, and he drives a Tahoe, and it's got like an 18-inch lift kit on it. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's like his little tax write-off, man.
What's he use? A ladder to get in his truck?
Damn near, yeah. Like it's huge.
What up, buddy? Just helped me on a job. Tree log removal. And he has a 8-inch, 10-inch lift. He has to use his tires to get in his truck.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
When I start having to have help getting in my truck, and my truck is too tall. Like I never.
Oh, he loves it. He'd jump in and out of that thing.
Oh, I know they do. They always do. They always love it.
It's so nice too.
That would drive me nuts, though. Having to. I think I would find an easier way to get in and out of my truck.
Yeah.
Like I'm putting some steps on it or something.
That's like a little foldable ladder.
Yeah. My grandma used to do that. My grandpa's truck wasn't even lifted or anything. It was just stock height, but she was short and didn't have the mobility, so she would carry around a step ladder everywhere she moved. We're getting there.
When did you come up with the name? The Anti-Cupcake Podcast.
Anti-cupcakeism. This is a series of events. Honestly, I started calling people cupcakes because they're sensitive, and then I started doing anti-cupcakeism to like motivate people to not be cupcakes. And then I started a podcast, and we were trying to think of the name, and then it was just like, oh shit, I already have one. Anti-cupcakeism. And so we just kind of stuck with it. I get that question a lot, though. Everyone's always like, where did the cupcake thing come from? Or why are you so obsessed with cupcakes? And it's like, I'm not obsessed with cupcakes. I just called people cupcakes once upon a time, and then everyone kind of stuck with it. It wasn't something that I necessarily intentionally did.
Dope.
Oh, yeah. But now it's like, the cupcake things are like part of my identity. People are like, oh, it's Austin. Talking about cupcakes.
Mm. Something fun? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not until you get to the shoulders.
Did you just ask if the tattoo hurt, Tay? Oh my.
Was on somewhere on the shoulders? I'd definitely be falling asleep.
Gosh. Never.
Depends on the location.
I think there's some truth to that, honestly.
Calf? I have one. They ain't never doing it again. Tattoo on a calf?
I'm gonna say one of the like Prince Albert style tattoos probably is gonna hurt pretty bad, you know? I think that would suck.
How about the neck?
It depends on the area of the neck. Like your throat is probably one of the worst ones you'll sit through. The sides of your neck, not too bad. You get down in these clavicles, that sucks.
Yeah, I got my snake.
The back of your neck ain't too bad until you hit that like bone right there.
Mm.
The back of the head was pretty massaging, honestly.
Hmm.
The two worst tattoos that I have, my elbow was by far the worst one. I would never want to do that again.
This one getting done.
I know. I didn't want to tell you that, but it's fine.
Now you're telling me.
Def-
Take it back. I'm not ready.
definitely by far one of the worst ones that I've gotten. And then my temples. Man, them temples suck.
Hurts that bad?
Yeah. You know, like, you get hit in the nose, and you can't help but, like, tear up just a little bit?
Yeah.
That's your temples. All of your temples.
Hell.
It does suck.
Actually, could have been just the artist on my calf. Now I think about it. I thought about a face tattoo.
Yeah?
Yeah. Don't know what I'd put.
I thought about mine for a long time before I finally got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went back and forth quite a bit.
Funny thing is, I have an album in my phone for my whole arm, my legs, and my back.
Ultimately, how I ended up with the trident on my face, my sleeve was supposed to be dedicated to Triton. And I do have his trident back there, but it was such shittily done, and I was so unhappy with it. And that artist doesn't really tattoo anymore, that I was like, that one can't be the one for my kid. Like, I'm not, that's not the one. So then I ended up doing the one on my face, and I'm so glad I did now, because a lot of people, that's the one that the people see the most or talk about the most.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, that one's for my kid, like, and I love that. But now it's like I gotta end up blacking out most of that. I do wish. Do your research on your artists, people, because you'll end up like me with a whole black sleeve that you don't like. And now I'm gonna end up doing something with it eventually once I get the rest of my body done.
So you're working on your left arm now, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. We're working on my left arm and my back kind of simultaneously right now. I really want my back done. I really want to get it finished, so I don't have to keep sitting through those. Back appointments hurt, man. And like I've gotten all the easy spots in my back done, now it's like all the shit places. Like
Spine and your shoulder blades.
no, those are the ones I got done first, and I think those are the easy ones. It's your damn love handles and anything underneath your arm.
Yeah.
That all sucks on your like rib cage and stuff.
I mean, yeah, you did that flower. That freaking sucked.
Yeah, and I need to touch up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not like crazy.
Everything else turned out good though.
Yeah, the rest of it looks good. It's just like you got like a spot of green there and some red up there that needs fixed.
Yeah.
But it's standalone line work too, so that's kind of to be expected. And honestly, I'm always down for, like, I look at my own work all the time and be like, man, it needs touched up. And then the client's like, but I don't want to get it touched up.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, we're looking pretty good. I like it. We're going to take a second here in a minute. I'm going to draw the rest of your lines in. And then we will do those. And some shading. This is mostly line work, but we are going to do a little bit of shading in this. For sure. And
Damn.
probably shut the podcast off here soon too, honestly.
One of my clients just had an emergency.
Emergency.
Mm-hmm. She's like, I'm so sorry, I forgot to pay you. We had an emergency. I was like, no, take care of that first. That's much more important. I think why I got so much clients in my business though is like I'm more like sentimental, I guess,
Yeah.
with them. It's
Yep.
like, oh, I don't have the money. I'm like, okay, well, you know, that's okay. It just when you do, or you even do payment wise, like I work more financial with them than against them.
Right.
It's like, oh, this job you have 2 acres. No, it's gonna be 250, and that's it.
I too have that. Try to keep our prices down.
Yeah.
That's why I bring so many artists in here. That's why we're on a booth rent and I'm not taking a bunch of their money. You know, it's an honorable way of doing business. When you do business honorably, people will recognize that.
I just did this one tree stem removal and stuff. They're all cut up and already laid out. We just hauled them away. They're like, yeah. I took another tree down. We threw it in. Just let me know. I was like, no, it's fine. We'll just keep the price that we did. Dude threw me $50 more.
Yeah. People will take care of you if you take care of them. We'll figure that out too.
And then he's talking. What? The last time I came out, Monday, Tuesday, last week, this week? No, last week. He's like, yeah, well, since you're all like kind and everything else, and you did that one thing for you, he's like, price out these like little stumps. There's like 25, 30 of them.
Yeah, and that's how you build clientele.
I was like, yeah, give me a little bit and I'll get back with you.
And that's one of the things that I mentioned in the podcast a lot too. Whenever anybody goes back and rewatches them, like there's a lot of tattoo shops here in town. Okay, and my crew, out of just about all the tattoo shops in town, like collectively, we probably have the least amount of experience. Yeah, like I've got a lot of new people here.
Yeah.
But we're also, out of every shop that's in town, the one that's growing the fastest. And everyone's always like, why is that? Why is that? Why is that? And it's because we're out here doing business the right way. And like you mentioned earlier, like when you come in here, this is a family style atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're treating our clients like they need to be. We're doing our touch ups like we should be. We're doing all the things, and because of that, people keep coming back. You know, they keep coming back to see us. They keep coming back to get more tattoos. So it's like, we may not necessarily be the most talented artists, even in this area, but because we're doing business right, we're growing faster than the rest of them.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's very, very important. I'm actually glad that you said something about that, because that is a very, very important part of it.
Yeah. I mean, we're both in a business where we're caring for people, so.
Right. But I mean, like any kind of business, honestly, if you're out there just screwing people over, people are going to start to realize that.
Yeah.
People are going to notice. And then they'll go find the person that's not screwing them over.
I waited for a whole month and a half for somebody to pay me one day. I'm like, just take your time. I'm in no rush.
And you kind of have to. I can't really do that for a tattoo because people will never pay me for it. But you do kind of have to like keep your ducks in a row, you know, so that you're not getting fucked over while you're waiting for people. But I do work with budgets. Like if someone comes in here and they're like, "Hey man, I really want a tattoo, but I've only got $200." Cool. You know, I work with your $200. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that at all.
That looks dope. Shady now?
This is coming out really good too.
Yeah.
The more I work on it, the more I'm falling in love with it.
You say me order food? You order the food.
Where are you ordering from? I'm hungry too.
Did you hear me?
No.
She's like, you buying? It's Regan, that's 3-4. If Hannah wants anything. Food from. From where? Do what?
Nothing.
What?
I want to get the new rain.
No rainbow flowers.
No rainbow.
Oh, rainbow flowers.
What is that?
No rain, no flowers.
No rain, no flowers. I got you now. That's a quote. For as a tattoo? Okay.
From your end. From your end. And this one in my hand. Where are you gonna put it?
It's actually one of my favorite sayings. Rain, no flowers.
Yeah? Put it on your forehead.
What? What?
Yeah. Do a little arc on your... And then the other one says, I'm with stupid, and an arrow towards me.
I'm with stupid. Yeah. That's probably pretty accurate. Yeah. It's not bullying. It's not bullying. It's a love language.
Yeah.
Hey now, you get room for that.
Let me see the line work. Babe, let me see the line work. You're right on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a cupcake, though. It'll be okay.
So I'm not a cupcake.
Oh, hell yeah. Did you add in those lines?
No, they were already in there.
Oh. Turned out really damn good. That's one thing, though. I'm glad I started a business.
Mm-hmm. We finally break out.
Yeah.
Start doing my own thing. Working for myself.
You're your own boss.
I wouldn't say that I work less, because that's not true at all. I work way more. But it's a more enjoyable. Like, I don't feel like I'm working.
Yeah.
Yeah. I work way more, but I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm just hanging out with my buddies or building myself. That's what it really feels like. I feel like I'm just building myself. Kind of like, I don't know, it's like going to the gym every day almost.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, it kind of sucks, but I feel way better about myself every time I do it. And then after a while, you kind of realize that, and then you almost start to look forward to it.
Yeah.
You know, like, I won't wake up today and go to work. Let's go. Let's go make some money.
I'm waking up screaming. He's just going to work.
Yeah. I don't hate my life when I wake up in the morning. It's just like I wake up in the morning, I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's go get some shit done.
Yeah.
There are days. I have days. And yesterday was one of them days. But, like, wake up and you're just like, yeah, like, yeah. But it's not because, like, I don't want to go do this stuff. It's just, I'm just sleepy.
That's how I was one day this week. Slept until 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah. But then I also have the option of, like, I can be sleepy and tired all day. But then I'll sit at home all day and do iPad work or text clients or work on advertising, work on social media. So it's like I can have a lazy day and still get work done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My day off, I just listen to clients call all day long, too.
Yeah. And that, like, that's kind of the beauty of it. It's like you can take a lazy day and still make good money.
Oh, yeah.
You might not get paid that day, but you're going to get paid in the next, like, week or something from all that work that you put in that day. I had a lazy day yesterday. I got on TikTok Live and ended up scheduling like 3 different appointments while I was sitting there on TikTok Live.
No kidding.
Yeah. And that doesn't even include the money I made from the actual being on TikTok Live.
Yeah. You make money for doing that?
All those like gifts and stuff that people give you from being on that, yeah, that's actual money that people are giving you. It's kind of like panhandling a little bit, but not. And you know how like when you play a mobile game and it gives you rewards for getting on the game every day and playing for a little while?
Yeah.
Like Clash of Clans does that and other games like that. TikTok Live does that too. So if you're consistent with it and you get on TikTok Live consistently every day, you'll start to keep more of that money that people are giving you. Because TikTok takes like 20-something% of all that money that people give you. And then, as you're on there and doing it more and more and more, TikTok will start giving you more and more and more of that money. Yeah. And you probably would do pretty well, honestly, man, if you were to run TikTok Live.
Yeah.
And start talking to people, especially in like your local area and stuff, and they're gonna start wanting to like, hey, will you mow my grass? Will you mow my grass? Solely, and like no homo here, but solely probably because you're an attractive guy. Yeah, you get all the moms out there like, come on, my grass, Yep, that's exactly what would end up happening.
So lady says in Elkhart, she's in my town. She's like, do you know where Elkhart is? I said, yeah. She's like, well, you can come mow my lawn anytime.
Yep. But you get on TikTok Live, all them little simp old ladies just start throwing cash at you. Yeah. And it ain't a lot. Like, I think the most I made off of one live was like 20-ish bucks, But that was the third time I'd been live that day. And that entire day I had made like $45 off of being live. And it was stupid shit, like I was sitting here tattooing somebody, I wasn't paying attention to the live, and then I went home, I cooked dinner, had the live going, wasn't paying attention to it, and then I worked out in the garage and wasn't paying attention to it, had a live going, and like I said, I made like $45 extra that day. You do that 7 days a week, that starts building up.
Yeah.
And now there is the ambassadorship for TikTok Shop. So for you, you're in the lawn care business, right? So you would fill out the ambassadorship for TikTok Shop and get approved. You would probably get approved pretty easily. And then you start finding products that are good for what you are doing. So like hedge trimmers or probably earphones or something, or something like that. And then you just start talking about that product on your TikTok in your post or on your TikTok Live or whatever it is. And then anytime someone buys that from the link that you posted, then you get a commission out of it. And depending on what it is, if it's something that's like a couple $100, you're getting $25 out of every one that's sold. If it's something that's only $3 or $4, then you're getting 50 cents out of every one that's sold. But again, you didn't have to put it in a warehouse, you didn't have to ship it, you didn't have to do nothing but talk about it.
Damn.
Yeah. And that usually works out better on a live. I have like regular posts out there that are advertising some products, but people don't really buy too much off of those. It's more the lives. Prime example, last night I was on live again, made like 20 something dollars just from being on the live and people giving me gifts and stuff, right? But then I also posted that gimbal and 2 people bought it. And I made $23 off of each one, so I made $50 off of 2 people buying that gimbal. And then an extra $20 just from people giving me money.
Wow.
So it builds up pretty fast.
I don't know too either. I've been thinking about buying another business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna open a second tattoo shop.
Yeah.
Actually, I know I'm going to.
Close to where I live?
Actually, I think we're staying in Kokomo, unfortunately. As much as I would also like to get a hell out of Kokomo, but no, I think we're gonna stay in Kokomo. The one after that will be not closer to where you
No.
live. No.
Damn.
I hate to tell you, man, if I were really like trying to expand, I'm going south. I'm not going north.
Yeah.
I would go Indianapolis, Carmel before I went.
If you were closer, I'd be in every day,
I believe that.
hanging out.
I believe that.
To the point where you're like, all right, dude, you're in here a lot. Get the hell out.
No, not at all. We have people that come in here all the time and hang out. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I got one guy in particularly, if he sees my car sitting out there, and when he gets off of work, he'll just stop by just to say hi.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
If you're closer, that'd be me.
And like, I don't mind at all. Or now that I'm doing these podcasts, like people will come in and just like watch as I'm recording these podcasts.
Yeah. That's not like buying a freaking car wash or something.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't
just
know.
don't even know where to look.
I don't know much about those. I feel like that would be expensive to buy a car wash.
Yeah. I just wouldn't even know where to look to even buy a business.
Just like straight up buy it like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are the people that like get a massive business loan and then invest it and stuff like that. I would like to get into fast food places.
Yeah.
I would love to own a couple Taco Bells or
Taco Bell will always be around.
I would love to be the guy that puts like a Church's or something here in town. That would be cool.
Yeah. You don't have to pay taxes on that either.
Really?
Yeah. Religious ground.
No, not those Church's. The chicken.
Huh?
Church's chicken.
I ain't never heard of that.
You ain't ever heard of Church's chicken?
No.
That's the best chicken ever. It really is. It's like southern stuff. She really hasn't. She's sheltered.
Girl, get yourself out.
I'm working on it. She's got to get her license first. I thought you did get approved.
Oh, hell no. Did you not hear?
No?
The lady that we dealt with that filed our application did not work for them. She was corporate. Fucked it all up. She filed it on three bedrooms separately, which makes no sense.
What?
Yeah. And then because we tried to refile, she told us that we were going to have to repay the $75 application plus wait for 5 to 10 business days. So we started applying it over.
I would have said F that.
Yeah. You'll have that.
I would have made her pay 75.
I think those application fees are stupid.
Yeah.
That's such a scam.
Especially if you don't get the place.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I just spent $100 for the damn application and didn't get the place.
$3 per person on the first application, and then $75 for all three of us on the second application. And the one that we filled out yesterday was $75 for all of us, plus the $450 that I spent for our hotel room for the stay.
Wow.
That's insane. Do you need somewhere to stay?
No, you put a $2 application on it,
That's so much money out the ass.
I will say that that's where it was really hard to get a rental because we don't have to pay steps. If that's what keeps fucking me over here.
Tay was just asking me about that this morning. You gotta find a private landlord.
That's what we've been doing. We've been getting all the private.
I would highly recommend stop messing with those places that take applications and just solely look on Facebook Marketplace.
Also, be careful on Facebook Marketplace. Someone's trying to scam on there.
There is a lot of scams on there. Don't fill out any applications off of Facebook Marketplace. If it's a private landlord, they are not doing online applications.
That's what I want to get into. Rentals.
Rentals, yeah. There's a lot of money in it right now just because renting is through their fucking roof.
Yeah. We were paying $10.99, and then the place we went through screwed us over. And now we pay $1,800 until September.
That's why I'm getting ready to move out to my grandpa's. And I have a pretty reasonable rent. I'm only paying $11.50 for mine, but
Well, they screwed our gas bill up, so now it's on us to fix it.
dang,
We're paying like $40 for gas, propane,
yeah.
and they're like, "No, you're supposed to be paying like $150 to $200 a month." So we pay on top of that like $1,800.
Dang,
Yeah.
you're trying to get caught up, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna move into some shading. I'm gonna clean that off real quick.
Yeah. I was glad I put some money back for this. I'm about to go on night shift again, so
Yeah.
yeah. Work for a factory for a little bit until I get an EMT.
Right. You're doing the EMT stuff. I remember
Yeah.
that now.
Well, I was in class and I quit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like 45 chapters in a book. So, like, it wasn't just a little thick.
Yeah.
It was like a big ass book. Well, I was like 3 weeks into it. I had like 2 weeks left. I took that book and it was like 11 o'clock at night. Everyone's asleep. Threw it across the room. I was like, F this, I'm done. Nope. I'm talking like the head chief, not like the chiefs or whatever. Like the big head wig. And I told him, I was like, I'm effing done. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I was like, they're like, what? You're the first person who's done this. We've been doing these classes for a while. I was like, well, I'm a Gaylor and
I'll prove you wrong.
yeah.
I'll
I'll be the first one to tell you. And I exactly said it. I am effing done.
Yeah. Done. I'm gonna bring his camera in real quick. Sid, hello. I've not been paying attention to any of this. I don't even know what you guys are hearing, to be honest. And to be completely honest, after last night, I'm so over TikTok Live that I even debated on even if I was gonna run this or not. I can't see what. There we go. Cool. Now we're gonna run some shading.
What did even comments been saying?
What? Rochester. That isn't far at all. I'm actually kind of from that area. I went to Caston Junior Senior High from the Fulton area. That's already up at 8K likes. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna run like a really crazy live goal, just because we don't have one going on right now.
Let's get this session to 10K.
I know, right? Well, it's not even all that crazy. But where is the podcast at? 2 hours and 20 minutes. So we're gonna wrap that up for sure, because that's a long ass podcast. Yeah. Alright, so if you're still here, thanks for watching. Malik, thanks for coming. I mean,
Thanks for having me.
you were getting a tattoo anyways, but thanks for doing a podcast with me. Thanks for chatting. I hope people are watching and getting motivation out of this kind of stuff. This is a prime example of what we're trying to do here. Trying to motivate people, get up off their asses and go do some stuff and create a life for themselves. And it's working. Yeah. And it's fucking awesome. Yeah. It's such a better lifestyle. It's what I do, honestly. I bring each one of these artists in here and show them the same thing. You're not the only client that I have that has gone off to start their own business. Shout out to KO Contracting. He also did the same thing, started his own kind of deal. So that's kind of the whole point of this, guys. That's why it's called Anti-Cupcakeism. That's why the shop is called Relentless. Is we're trying to motivate people to do what they need to do to better to better their own lives. So thanks for watching. Really do appreciate y'all. Have a good one.
Got any lawns that need taken care of?
Yeah.
Hit me up.
Yeah. Go see Malik for a lawn. What's it actually called?
Gator Care Services.
Gator Care Services out of Elkhart, Crawfordsville, Indiana. There we go. How would they find you? Facebook, Instagram, Google?
Facebook.
Facebook? There you go. So go check them out on Facebook.
Or my name.
Yep.